Today's topic of discussion is erythroblastosis fetalis. What is erythroblastosis fetalis? It is a hemolytic disease of the newborn, and this is caused by RH incompatibility. Okay, so we can write this is a hemolytic disease of newborn and caused by the RH incompatibility. This usually occurs when the mother is Rh negative, carries a fetus of Rh positive blood during the pregnancy. So, the mother Rh negative and the fetus is Rh positive. Usually the first delivery is not that much severe, but during the placental separation, some amount of the blood from the fetus enters into the maternal circulation. So the Rh antigen is absent in mother's blood, so that the anti-Rh antibodies will be produced. And during the next pregnancy, as the anti-Rh antibodies, these are IgG types. So these can cross the placenta and causes the hemolysis of the next baby. Okay, if the next during subsequent pregnancy, if the fetus is again Rh positive, this IgG type of anti-Rh antibodies through the placenta enters the fetus blood and causes the hemolysis. During the subsequent pregnancies, this degree of hemolysis becomes very much severe. Now, coming to some clinical features. Usually, the features are mainly due to hemolysis. Okay, hemolysis can lead to various complications such as anemia. Okay, then neonatal hyperbilirubinemia, and extramedullary hemopoiesis, and so on. Okay, when the case becomes very much severe, the fetus may die even in utero, or even if it is born, there will be many clinical features such as we can discuss those clinical features. Anemia. We know the rate of anemia is directly proportional to the rate of hemolysis. Okay, so the first point is anemia, and the second one is the hemolytic jaundice. So as we have already discussed about jaundice, we know the hemoglobin will be broken down so that we will get heme. It will be converted into bilirubin, so that the bilirubin concentration of within the blood will be greater than 25 milligram percentage. So this happens due to the hemolysis. And the next point is generalized edema. Okay, generalized edema. This is again due to hemolysis and also hypoproteinemia. Hemolysis and hypoproteinemia. This will result in the generalized edema. Okay. And next, very much important, that is kernicterus. This is an important point. Kernicterus is actually a neurological syndrome. It's a neurological syndrome, and two major points we have to mention here is that the cause and what is the result. This will cause the dysfunction of motor system, that is motor dysfunctions will be resulting, and this occurs due to the deposition of the bilirubin in basal ganglia. The basal ganglia has high affinity towards the bilirubin. In the case of adult, we know we have the blood-brain barrier. Okay, in the case of adult, this blood-brain barrier will not allow the entry of the bilirubin into the blood. But in the case of a newborn baby or in early childhood, this blood-brain barrier is not that much developed. So this bilirubin can easily enter into the brain and causes the deposition in the basal ganglia. So motor dysfunction will occur. So the important point is, in adult, hemolytic jaundice will not result in the kernicterus, while in babies, infants and in during early childhood, this can result in kernicterus. Okay, the last point, that is the extramedullary hemopoiesis. So we know what is medullary hemopoiesis, right? Medullary hemopoiesis means hemopoiesis taking place within the bone marrow. So extramedullary hemopoiesis means it's taking place in some other site, so that the nucleated RBC, usually the RBCs are not nucleated. The nucleated RBC, they are called erythroblast. Nucleated RBC will be more produced and more released into the circulation. That's why it is actually called the erythroblastosis fetalis. So this is the clinical features. Now we can go to the treatment. Okay, the treatment, usually 50% of the fetus or the newborns born with the erythroblastosis fetalis will have some mild hemolysis and does not require that much treatment. When the case is very much severe, we will go for treatment. So the treatment methods are intrauterine transfusion. Okay, this is the first method, intrauterine transfusion, and this is usually done when this is diagnosed for fetus. As the name itself indicates, uterine, intrauterine transfusion. So when this detected or diagnosed in a fetus, we will go for intrauterine transfusion. This means the red cells from a donor is transfused into the fetus anum. And okay, that's about the intrauterine transfusion. And at present, we are using the intraperitoneal route. That's one point we have to remember. At present, we are using intraperitoneal route, replacing the intravascular route. Replacing intravascular type of intrauterine transfusion. Next vanittu exchange transfusion. When a baby is born with this defect, the baby is having a severe jaundice, anemia, or hydrops. Okay, I forgot to mention that we have discussed about the edema. No, this edema, this is also called, edema is also called hydrops. Hydrops fetalis. Hydrops fetalis. Okay. So the baby is having jaundice, severe jaundice, anemia, hydrops. We will go for exchange transfusion soon after the birth. Okay. By this method, we can remove the sensitized RBC. Okay, sensitized RBC. The maternal antibodies. Maternal antibodies and bilirubin. Okay, all these things can be removed, and we are having one other method, that is double volume exchange transfusion. Double volume exchange transfusion. That means 2 times 80 milliliter per kilogram. This is transfused. So by this method is very much effective. By this method, we can replace about 90% of the infant's blood volume with negative red cells, antigen negative red cells, so that the blood should be ABO negative, RH negative, and must be cross-matched with the maternal blood. Must be cross-matched with maternal blood. Okay, that's treatment. The most effective treatment. Okay, the most effective treatment is the phototherapy. We know that due to hemolysis, the bilirubin will be more produced, but the bilirubin is very much toxic. But it is sensitive to light. That is phototherapy. When bilirubin is subjected to some light therapies, it will undergo some chemical and structural isomerization. So that this will become less toxic and less lipophilic. Okay. This is the most effective treatment. The last point, that is the prevention. How this can be prevented? This can be prevented by giving a single dose of anti-RH antibodies to the mother during the postpartum period. Postpartum, that is after the parturition, after the delivery of the first baby. Following the first delivery, we are giving some anti-RH antibodies in the form of RH immunoglobulins. RH immunoglobulins. Okay. Even during pregnancy, we can give some passive immunization. Passive immunization by giving the same RH immunoglobulins. So that's about erythroblastosis fetalis. Hope you all understood. Thank you.